How do you break up with your fiancé when their family loves you too much? I sat across from my fiancé at his parents' dining table, staring at the engagement ring on my finger while his mother rattled off venue options from the kitchen. The ring felt like a weight I couldn't shake, a constant reminder of the lie I was living every single day. What do you think about the Riverside Gardens? Ryan called out, not even looking up from his phone where he was scrolling through wedding websites. Mom says they have an opening in October. I twisted the ring around my finger. 6 months ago, this conversation would have filled me with excitement. Now it made my stomach turn. We need to talk. About the wedding? He finally looked up, that same vacant smile he'd been wearing for months. Because I was thinking we could expand the guest list. Dad wants to invite his whole office. About us. The words felt foreign in my mouth. About how we're both miserable and pretending we're not. Ryan's phone clattered against the table. What are you talking about? I'm talking about how you haven't touched me unless someone's watching. I'm talking about how we make small talk like strangers and sleep on opposite sides of the bed like we're afraid of each other. My voice was rising, but I couldn't stop myself. I'm talking about how your parents are planning our entire wedding while we sit here like mannequins. Keep it down, he hissed, his eyes darting toward the kitchen where his mother was still chattering about centerpieces. They'll hear you. Maybe they should. I pulled the ring off my finger and set it on the table between us. It made a small clicking sound against the wood. Maybe they should know that their perfect son proposed because he was tired of them asking when he was going to settle down every holiday dinner. His face drained of color. That's not why. It's exactly why. I leaned forward, my voice dropping to a whisper. You proposed because you thought you were supposed to. I said yes because I thought I loved you. But I don't, Ryan. I haven't for months. The kitchen went quiet. Too quiet. His mother's voice had stopped mid-sentence about flower arrangements. And you don't love me either, I continued, watching his face crumble. You love the idea of me. You love how your family thinks we're perfect together. But you don't love me. That's not true, he said, but his voice was hollow. When's the last time you kissed me without an audience? When's the last time we had a conversation that wasn't about wedding planning or what your parents want? I gestured at the ring sitting between us. When's the last time you looked at me and felt anything other than obligation? Sweetheart? His mother appeared in the doorway, her face bright with anticipation. We were just discussing the cake tasting next weekend. 3 layers or 4? She stopped short when she saw the ring on the table. Her smile faltered, confusion flickering across her features as she took in our faces. What's going on? His father joined her, both of them crowding the doorway like they were afraid to come closer. I looked at Ryan, waiting for him to say something, anything, but he just sat there staring at the ring like it was a bomb that might explode. We can't do this, I said finally, my voice barely audible. The engagement, the wedding, any of it. The silence that followed was suffocating. His mother's hand flew to her chest. His father's face went slack with shock. But you're perfect for each other, his mother whispered, tears already forming in her eyes. Everyone says so. You're like the daughter I never had. That's when the real weight of what I was doing hit me. I wasn't just breaking up with Ryan. I was shattering the dream his family had built around us, destroying the future they'd already mapped out in their minds, crushing the hope they'd invested in our relationship. And Ryan was looking at me like I'd just torn his entire world apart. Honey, let's just take a breath here, his mother said, stepping into the room like she was approaching a wild animal. Wedding stress is completely normal. Every couple goes through this. I watched her eyes dart between the ring on the table and our faces, clearly trying to piece together what she'd walked into. His father hovered behind her, wringing his hands. This isn't wedding stress, I said quietly. This is us realizing we don't belong together. Don't say that. His mother's voice cracked. She moved closer, reaching for the ring. You two are perfect for each other. Everyone sees it. Your friends, our family, even strangers comment on how wonderful you are together. Ryan finally found his voice. Mom, maybe we should— No. She held up her hand, stopping him mid-sentence. I've watched you two for 3 years. I've seen how happy you make each other. This is just cold feet. It's not cold feet when you haven't been happy in months, I said, looking directly at Ryan. Tell them how we barely talk anymore unless it's about the wedding. He opened his mouth, then closed it. The coward couldn't even back me up when it mattered. See? His mother smiled triumphantly. He can't say it because it's not true. Ryan, tell her how much you love her. The pause that followed was devastating. I could see Ryan struggling, his face cycling through expressions like he was trying on different masks. His parents waited, expectant smiles frozen on their faces. Ryan started, then stopped. Of course I love her. It was the weakest declaration I'd ever heard, and even his parents seemed to notice. His mother's smile wavered. You see? I stood up, the chair scraping against the floor. He can't even say it like he means it. That's not fair, his father spoke up for the first time. Ryan's never been good with words. Remember when he was little and couldn't tell us about his day at school? He shows love through actions. What actions? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. Scrolling through his phone during dinner, falling asleep during movies, agreeing to whatever wedding plans you make without asking what I want? He works hard to provide for your future, his mother said defensively. He bought you that beautiful ring. He proposed at your favorite restaurant. He proposed there because you told him to. The words tumbled out before I could stop them. You told him at Easter dinner that the restaurant was romantic and he should remember that. The room went deadly quiet. His mother's face went pale. That's not— Ryan started, but the damage was done. You discussed the proposal with his mother? I turned to stare at him. You planned our engagement with your mom? It wasn't like that, he said quickly. She just mentioned— Oh my God. I sank back into the chair. She picked the restaurant, didn't she? The ring too? I helped him choose something you'd love, his mother said, her voice getting defensive. I know your taste better than anyone. You know my taste? I looked at the ring sitting on the table. It was beautiful, but it had never felt like mine. When did you learn my taste? I pay attention. I notice what jewelry you wear, what styles you like. I wanted to make sure Ryan got it perfect. I turned to Ryan. Did you pick anything about our engagement yourself? He looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. I picked the timing. When? He glanced at his parents, then back at me. I wanted to wait until after your promotion came through. Mom thought I should do it before the summer wedding season got too busy. His mother stepped forward again. I was trying to help. I wanted everything to be perfect for you both. Perfect for who? I asked. Because this doesn't feel perfect for either of us. It will be, she insisted. Once you get through this rough patch, every relationship has them. This isn't a rough patch, I said, my voice rising. This is two people who settled for each other because it was easier than admitting we're wrong together. You're not wrong together, his father said firmly. You balance each other out. Ryan's more outgoing when you're around. You're more relaxed with him. I'm more relaxed because I've given up trying, I shot back. And he's more outgoing because he has to compensate for how little we have to say to each other. Ryan flinched at that but still said nothing. His parents looked between us like they were watching a tennis match. This is just stress talking, his mother said again, but her voice was weaker now. Let's postpone the wedding planning for a few weeks. Give you both time to remember why you fell in love. We didn't fall in love, I said quietly. We fell into a routine. We got comfortable, and your family filled in all the gaps where real feelings should have been. The silence stretched on forever. His mother's eyes filled with tears again. His father looked like someone had punched him. Ryan cleared his throat. Maybe we should talk about this privately. No, his mother said quickly. Don't shut us out. We're family. We can work through this together. But I could see it in her eyes. For the first time, doubt was creeping in. She was starting to see what I'd been trying to tell them. We weren't the perfect couple she'd imagined. We were two people going through the motions while his family cheered us on from the sidelines. 3 days later, Ryan's mother called me at work. I've been thinking about our conversation, she said, her voice carefully controlled. I want you to know that whatever you two are going through, we're here for you. I stepped out of my office and into the hallway. I appreciate that, but I made dinner reservations for all 4 of us tonight. That little Italian place you love. We need to talk this through as a family. Family. The word made my stomach clench. I don't think that's a good idea. Nonsense. Communication is the foundation of any strong relationship. I learned that from my own marriage counselor years ago. Her tone was getting firmer. 7 o'clock, Ryan's already confirmed. Of course he had. I hung up and immediately called him. Your mother ambushed me into dinner tonight. I know. His voice was flat. She cornered me too. So what's the plan? Are we going to sit there and pretend everything's fine? I don't know. He sounded exhausted. Maybe we should just go along with it. For now. Go along with what? The wedding? The engagement? Living a lie for the rest of our lives? It's one dinner. But I knew it wouldn't be just one dinner. This was his family's way of wearing us down, of making the path of least resistance lead straight to the altar. That evening, I sat across from Ryan at the Italian restaurant, his parents flanking us like bodyguards. His mother had ordered for everyone, including wine I didn't want. Now, she said, folding her hands on the table, let's talk about what's really bothering you both. We already told you, I said quietly. You told me you think you're not compatible, but compatibility isn't just about having everything in common. It's about growing together, complementing each other's strengths and weaknesses. Ryan's father nodded along. Your mother and I are complete opposites. She's organized, I'm scattered. She's social, I'm a homebody. But we make it work because we choose to make it work every day. That's different, I said. You two actually love each other. The words hung in the air like a challenge. His mother's smile tightened. Love isn't just a feeling, she said. It's a choice. It's commitment. It's showing up even when things get difficult. What if the difficulty is that you're fundamentally wrong for each other? Then you figure out how to be right for each other. She reached across the table and patted my hand. I've watched you two together. I've seen how you light up when you talk about your work, and how Ryan listens to every word. I've seen how he relaxes when you're around, how much more himself he becomes. I glanced at Ryan, who was staring at his untouched pasta. Is that true? Do I light up when I talk about work? He looked up, startled. What? Your mother says I light up when I talk about work around you. Do you see that? He glanced between his parents and me. Sure, you're passionate about your job. But do I light up more when you're around? Or do I just talk about work because it's the only safe topic we have? The silence stretched uncomfortably. His mother jumped in. You see? This is exactly what I mean. You're overthinking everything instead of just enjoying each other's company. Maybe we're overthinking because there's nothing natural left to think about, I said. Don't be ridiculous. His father spoke up. You two have been together for 3 years. You don't stay with someone that long if there's nothing there. You do if everyone around you keeps telling you how perfect you are together, I said, looking directly at Ryan. You do if breaking up feels harder than staying together. Ryan set down his fork. Can we not do this here? Where else are we going to do it? I asked. At home, where we avoid each other? At your parents' house, where they plan our entire wedding without asking what we want? We ask what you want, his mother said defensively. I've been sending you venue options all week. You've been sending me venues you already narrowed down. You didn't ask if I wanted a big wedding or a small one. You didn't ask if I wanted a church ceremony or something outdoors. You assumed. I was trying to help, she said, her voice getting sharper. Most brides would appreciate not having to research every single vendor themselves. Most brides want to have a say in their own wedding. You have a say. You can choose between the options I provide. That's not the same thing. I turned to Ryan again. Do you see what I mean? Even this conversation is about what your parents want, not what we want. He looked miserable. I just want everyone to be happy. What about you? I pressed. What do you want? I want... He stopped, looking around the table at his parents' expectant faces. I want us to work. That's not the same as wanting me, I said quietly. His mother slammed her hand on the table, making the wine glasses jump. This is enough. You're both being dramatic and selfish. Every couple has doubts. Every couple goes through rough patches. But you don't throw away 3 years and a future together because you're having some philosophical crisis about compatibility. It's not philosophical, I said. It's practical. We don't enjoy each other's company anymore. Because you're not trying, she shot back. When's the last time you two did something fun together? When's the last time you went on a real date? I thought about it. We went to dinner regularly, but it was always with his family or friends. We watched movies, but Ryan usually fell asleep halfway through. We ran errands together on weekends, but that felt more like being roommates than being in love. We do things together, Ryan said weakly. Like what? I asked. We go grocery shopping. That's not a date, Ryan. That's a chore. His mother leaned forward. See? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You've let your relationship become routine instead of nurturing it, but that's fixable. You just need to put in more effort. What if we don't want to put in the effort? The question slipped out before I could stop it. The table went completely silent. His father set down his wine glass with a soft clink. Then you're giving up too easily, his mother said, but her voice had lost some of its conviction. I looked at Ryan. He was staring at his hands, his shoulders slumped in defeat. Are we giving up too easily? I asked him directly. He didn't answer for a long time. When he finally looked up, his eyes were tired. I don't know anymore, he said quietly. I honestly don't know. The dress dress catalogs started arriving the next morning. I found them on my doorstep when I left for work. 3 thick packages wrapped in tissue paper with a note from his mother. Saw these and thought of you. Can't wait to go shopping together. XOXO, future mom-in-law. Future mom-in-law. The phrase made me want to throw the packages in the trash, but I knew she'd ask about them. She always asked about everything. By the time I got to my office, she'd already texted me twice about scheduling a dress appointment, and once about cake flavors. My phone buzzed again during my morning meeting. Dad wants to add his golf buddies to the guest list. That's another 20 people. This wedding is going to be bigger than mine was. I stared at the message. We hadn't even confirmed we were still engaged, and she was expanding our guest list. I called Ryan during my lunch break. Did you see your mom's texts? Which ones? He sounded tired. She's been messaging me all morning about centerpieces. She wants to add your dad's golf buddies to our guest list. Okay. Okay? That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say? She's excited. She wants to include everyone. She wants to include people we've never met at our wedding. People who probably don't even know we're engaged. They know Dad. That's enough for Mom. I sat in my car in the parking lot, watching people walk by with their normal lives and normal problems. Ryan, do you realize what's happening here? What do you mean? Your parents are planning our entire wedding without us. They've picked the venue, the date, the flowers, the cake, and now the guest list. What exactly are we contributing to this besides showing up? We're contributing by being the couple getting married. But are we? Are we really getting married? Or are we just going along with what they want because it's easier than fighting them? The line went quiet for so long I thought he'd hung up. I don't want to have this conversation right now, he said finally. When do you want to have it? At the altar? I have to go. I'm in a meeting. He wasn't in a meeting. I could hear his TV in the background. That evening, his mother called while I was heating up leftover takeout. I hope you got the dress catalogs. I marked my favorites. Oh, and I talked to my sister about flowers. She knows someone who can do the arrangements for half the usual price, but we need to book soon. We haven't even confirmed a venue yet. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I drove by the Riverside Gardens today, and they're absolutely perfect. The coordinator said if we put down a deposit this week, they can hold our October date. What if we want a different date? October is perfect. Not too hot, not too cold, and all the fall colors will be gorgeous in photos. Plus, it gives us enough time to plan everything properly. What if we want a different venue? She laughed. Honey, I've been to hundreds of weddings. Trust me, Riverside Gardens is exactly what you want. They have those beautiful stone arches you showed me on Pinterest. I never showed her anything on Pinterest. I didn't even have a wedding Pinterest board. Did Ryan agree to this? Of course, he said whatever makes you happy makes him happy. Isn't that sweet? That was Ryan's standard response to everything. Whatever makes you happy. It sounded romantic, but it was really just him avoiding having to make any decisions. I need to think about it. What's to think about? It's perfect. I'm going to put down the deposit tomorrow morning. Please don't do that without talking to us first. Sweetheart, venues book up fast. If we wait, we'll lose it to another couple. After I hung up, I called Ryan immediately. Your mother is putting down a deposit on Riverside Gardens tomorrow. Okay. Did you agree to that venue? She asked if I liked it. I said it looked nice. So you agreed? I said it looked nice. That's not the same as agreeing. To your mother it is. She thinks it looks nice means book it immediately. Then call her back and clarify. Why don't you call her back? She's your mother. She's already made up her mind. You know how she gets when she's excited about something. I did know. His mother approached wedding planning like a military campaign, with spreadsheets and timelines and vendor meetings scheduled weeks in advance. She'd already booked a tasting at 3 different bakeries and made appointments with 2 photographers. This is insane, I said. She's planning our wedding faster than we planned our engagement. She's just trying to help. Help with what? Taking over our entire wedding? She wants it to be perfect. Perfect for who? Because it doesn't feel like she's considering what we actually want. What do we actually want? Ryan asked, and the question hung in the air between us. I realized I had no idea how to answer that. I didn't know what kind of wedding I wanted because I wasn't sure I wanted to marry Ryan at all. And he clearly didn't know either, which was why he kept defaulting to whatever his mother suggested. I want to feel like we have some say in our own wedding, I said finally. We do have a say. We can veto anything we don't like. When? After she's already booked it? After she's already told everyone? After she's already put down deposits? She's not going to book anything we hate. How does she know what we hate if we never tell her what we like? Another long silence. I have to go, Ryan said. My dad wants to watch the game. The next morning, I woke up to a text from his mother. Deposit is down. We're officially booked at Riverside Gardens for October 15th. Time to start dress shopping. She'd included 3 heart emojis and a champagne bottle. I sat in bed staring at the message, realizing that my wedding date had just been decided without me. My venue had been chosen without me. My flowers were being arranged by someone I'd never met, and my guest list was being expanded to include people I'd never seen. I was about to marry someone I didn't love, at a wedding planned by people who weren't me, surrounded by strangers who were there for his family, not for us. And the worst part was that everyone kept acting like this was normal. Like brides were supposed to be grateful when their future mother-in-law took charge. Like I should be thrilled that someone else was handling all the stressful details. But I wasn't stressed about the details. I was drowning in the realization that my entire life was being decided by committee, and I was the only one who seemed to notice. Ryan's next text came an hour later. Mom says the venue looks great. Can't wait to see you in your dress. He couldn't even remember that he hadn't actually seen the venue yet. His mother's excitement was becoming his reality, and my doubts were being steamrolled by their collective enthusiasm. I was disappearing from my own engagement one decision at a time. Ryan left his phone on the kitchen counter while he showered, and I wasn't planning to look at it until it buzzed with a message from his college roommate. Dude, you ready for married life or what? The response came back immediately, but Ryan was still in the shower. The water was running, steam was fogging up the bathroom door, and his phone was lighting up with messages I'd apparently sent. I picked up the phone. Not really. Read the message I definitely hadn't seen him type, honestly dreading it. My stomach dropped. I scrolled up to see more of the conversation. Mom keeps pushing for a bigger wedding. It's getting out of hand. hand. Just tell her to back off. Can't. She's already booked everything. Plus, she'd lose her mind if I said anything negative about the wedding. What about your girl? Doesn't she have a say? She's not happy either, but she won't admit it. We're both just going through the motions at this point. I kept scrolling, finding weeks of conversations I'd never seen. Sometimes I think we should just call it off. So why don't you? Because my parents have already told everyone. They've put deposits down on everything. Dad's already planned his speech. Mom bought her dress. I can't destroy all that. Dude, that's not a reason to get married. I know, but breaking up feels impossible now. Too many people are invested. My hands were trembling as I scrolled further back. There were more messages, spanning months. I don't think I love her anymore. When did you realize that? Probably around the time I proposed. But everyone was so excited and she said yes, and suddenly we were engaged and planning this whole future I'm not sure I want. That's rough, man. The worst part is she's going along with it too. Like we're both pretending this is what we want because it's easier than admitting we made a mistake. Have you tried talking to her about it? What am I supposed to say? Hey, I don't love you, but my family already planned our wedding. Maybe start with how you're feeling about everything. She knows something's wrong. We barely talk unless it's about wedding stuff. We don't even sleep in the same bed anymore. We're like roommates who are planning a party together. This sounds miserable. It is, but I can't figure out how to get out of it without hurting everyone. I heard the shower turn off and quickly put the phone back where I'd found it. Ryan emerged from the bathroom a few minutes later, towel around his waist, looking completely normal. Hey, he said, grabbing his phone. My mom wants to know if you prefer roses or peonies for the centerpieces. I stared at him. This man who'd just been texting about how miserable he was, how he didn't love me anymore, how he was dreading our wedding, was standing there asking me about flowers. I need some air, I said, heading for the door. Where are you going? For a walk. I wandered around the neighborhood for an hour, replaying every message in my head. The relief was almost overwhelming. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't the only one who felt trapped. Ryan was just as miserable as I was, just as desperate to escape, just as paralyzed by his family's expectations. But I was also angry. While I'd been lying awake at night wondering if I was being unfair, if I was giving up too easily, if I should try harder, he'd been texting his friends about how much he dreaded marrying me. When I got back to the apartment, Ryan was on the couch watching TV. Feel better? He asked without looking up. We need to talk. About what? About how you've been telling your friends that you don't love me anymore. The remote fell out of his hand and clattered onto the coffee table. He turned to stare at me, his face going pale. What are you talking about? I saw your phone. I saw your messages with Connor. He was quiet for a long time, just staring at me like he was trying to figure out how much I'd seen. How much did you read? He asked finally. Enough. Months of conversations about how miserable you are, how you don't want to marry me, how you're only doing this because your parents would be disappointed. You went through my phone? It buzzed while you were in the shower. I thought it was important. So you decided to read my private conversations? Don't. I held up my hand. Don't make this about privacy when you've been lying to me for months. He looked down at his hands. I wasn't lying. You were pretending. Every day. Acting like everything was fine when you were texting your friends about how much you dread marrying me. I never said I dreaded marrying you. You said you were dreading married life. You said you don't love me anymore. You said we're both just going through the motions. That's not... He stopped, realizing there was no point in denying what I'd literally read with my own eyes. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. Tell you what? That you felt this way. That you were unhappy. That you wanted out. Because I thought maybe it would get better. Maybe we were just going through a rough patch. For months? You thought we were going through a month-long rough patch and the solution was to plan a wedding? I thought maybe getting married would fix things. Give us something to work toward together. Getting married doesn't fix a broken relationship, Ryan. It just makes you legally bound to someone you don't want to be with. I do want to be with you. Do you? Because your messages say otherwise. He was quiet again, staring at the TV screen without seeing it. I want to be with you, he said quietly. That's not the same thing. I know. So what do we do now? I don't know. Well, I do. I sat down across from him. We stopped pretending. We stopped going through the motions. We stopped planning a wedding neither of us wants. Your parents will survive. They'll be disappointed, but they'll survive. They've already put so much money down, so much planning. That's not our fault. We didn't ask them to book venues and hire caterers before we were ready, but they did it for us. They did it for themselves. They did it because they wanted to plan a wedding, not because we asked them to. Ryan looked at me then, really looked at me for the first time in months. Are you saying we should break up? I'm saying we should be honest about what we both already know. We're not happy together. We haven't been happy in a long time, and getting married isn't going to change that. But what if we regret it? What if we regret staying together? What if we wake up in 5 years and realize we wasted the best years of our lives pretending to be in love? He didn't have an answer for that. Your friend Connor was right, I said. Being afraid to disappoint people isn't a reason to get married. So what do we tell them? We tell them the truth. Which is what? That we realized we're not right for each other. That we want different things. That we'd rather end this now while we can still be friends than wait until we hate each other. Ryan was quiet for a long time, processing everything. They're going to be so upset, he said finally. I know. They're going to ask why we didn't tell them sooner. And we'll tell them we were trying to figure it out ourselves. Mom's going to cry, probably. Dad's going to ask if there's anything he can do to fix it. And you'll tell him some things can't be fixed. They can only be accepted. He nodded slowly. When do we tell them? Soon, before they book anything else. Before this gets any bigger than it already is. Okay, he looked at me again. Are you sure about this? I thought about all the mornings I'd woken up wishing I was somewhere else. All the conversations where we'd run out of things to say. All the nights we'd gone to bed without touching each other. All the wedding planning sessions where I'd felt like an observer in my own life. I'm sure, I said. Are you? Yeah, he said. And for the first time in months, he sounded like he meant it. I'm sure. We called his parents that evening and asked if we could come over to talk. Of course, darling, his mother said, her voice bright with excitement. I just got the sample invitations in the mail. Wait until you see them. They're absolutely gorgeous. Ryan and I looked at each other across the kitchen table. Sample invitations. For a wedding we were about to cancel. We'll be over in an hour, Ryan said. Perfect. I'll make coffee. Your father will be so excited to show you the photos from the venue walkthrough. The venue walkthrough. Another thing they'd done without us. When we pulled into their driveway, I could see his mother through the front window, arranging papers on the coffee table. She'd laid out the invitation samples in neat rows, along with what looked like vendor contracts and photo albums. She's been preparing for this conversation all all day, Ryan said quietly. Just remember what we agreed on, I said. We tell them together. We stay united. Right. But as soon as his mother opened the door, I could see the doubt creeping back into his face. There are my beautiful children, she said, pulling us both into a hug that lasted too long. Come in, come in. I have so much to show you. His father was waiting in the living room, grinning like it was Christmas morning. The coffee table was covered with wedding materials, invitation samples, catering menus, flower arrangements printed from the internet, and thick photo albums from the venue. Sit, his mother said, patting the couch. I don't even know where to start. The venue coordinator sent over these amazing photos from last weekend's wedding. Look at how beautiful the stone arches look with white roses. She thrust a photo album into my lap. The pictures were gorgeous, I had to admit. Rolling green lawns, elegant stone architecture, fairy lights strung between trees. It was exactly the kind of wedding venue I would have chosen for myself if I'd been planning a wedding I actually wanted. And look at these invitation options, she continued, spreading them across the table. I narrowed it down to these 5 designs. This one has the embossed lettering you mentioned liking. I'd never mentioned liking embossed lettering. I wasn't even sure what embossed lettering was. Ryan cleared his throat. Mom, Dad, we actually came over to talk about something important. Oh good, his father said, settling back in his armchair. We have important things to discuss too. The caterer needs final numbers by next Friday, and we still haven't decided on the band versus DJ question. That's not what we meant, Ryan said, his voice getting quieter. Well, whatever it is, it can wait 5 minutes, his mother said, pulling out another folder. You have to see the cake designs. I found this amazing bakery that does custom work, and they can recreate any design we want. She spread out a dozen photos of elaborate wedding cakes. 3 tiers, 4 tiers, some with intricate sugar flowers, others with geometric patterns. All of them beautiful, all of them completely irrelevant. Mom, please, Ryan said, we really need to. Oh, and I almost forgot, his father interrupted, standing up and walking to the bookshelf. I've been working on my father of the groom speech. I know it's early, but I wanted to get your feedback. He pulled out a folded piece of paper and cleared his throat dramatically. No, Dad, don't, Ryan said, but his father was already reading. When Ryan first brought this beautiful young woman home for dinner, I knew she was special. The way she laughed at my terrible jokes, the way she helped your mother in the kitchen without being asked, the way she made our son light up like I hadn't seen in years. I felt like I was drowning. Every word his father spoke made this harder. They weren't just planning a wedding, they were creating mythology around our relationship. They'd built an entire narrative about how perfect we were together, how much joy we brought to each other's lives, how meant to be we were. And none of it was true. I've watched them together for 3 years now, his father continued, and I've never seen 2 people more perfectly suited for each other. They complement each other in every way. Where Ryan is impulsive, she's thoughtful. Where she's cautious, he's adventurous. They make each other better people. Ryan was staring at his hands. I could see him shrinking into himself with every word. Dad, stop, he said quietly. I'm almost finished, his father said, smiling. The best part is coming up. No, please stop, but I want to get to the part about the grandchildren, his mother chimed in. Tell them about what you wrote about the grandchildren. Stop. Ryan's voice was louder now, and both his parents looked at him in surprise. What's wrong, honey? His mother asked, setting down the cake photos. Ryan looked at me, his eyes wide with panic. I could see him struggling, torn between the truth and the enormous weight of their expectations. We can't do this, he said finally. Can't do what? His father asked, still holding his speech. The wedding. Any of it. We can't get married. The silence that followed was deafening. His mother's face went completely blank. His father slowly folded up his speech and sat back down. What do you mean you can't get married? His mother asked, her voice very small. We mean we don't want to get married, I said, finding my voice. We realized we're not right for each other. That's not true, his mother said immediately. You're perfect for each other. Everyone says so. Who says so? Ryan asked. Everyone. Your friends, our friends, people at church, the neighbors. Everyone who sees you together knows you're meant to be. What if we don't feel that way? I asked. Feelings change, his father said, leaning forward. Relationships go through rough patches. That's normal. This isn't a rough patch, Ryan said. This is us admitting that we've been going through the motions for months because we didn't know how to tell you we weren't happy. His mother's eyes filled with tears. But you seemed happy. At Christmas, at Easter, at your engagement party. You were glowing. We were performing, I said quietly. For you. Because we knew how much this meant to you. Don't say that, she said, her voice breaking. Don't say you were performing. That makes everything fake. It wasn't all fake, Ryan said quickly. We care about each other. We always will. But we're not in love anymore. You can fall back in love, his father said desperately. You can work on it. You can go to counseling. We don't want to work on it, I said. That's what we're trying to tell you. We both want different things. We both want to be with different people. What different people? His mother asked sharply. Is there someone else? No, Ryan and I said simultaneously. Then I don't understand, she continued. If there's no one else, if you care about each other, if you've been together for 3 years, why would you throw that all away? Because caring about someone isn't the same as being in love with them, I said. Because 3 years of being comfortable isn't the same as a lifetime of being happy. Comfort is underrated, his father said. Passion fades, comfort lasts. But we're not even comfortable anymore, Ryan said. We avoid each other. We run out of things to talk about. We don't enjoy spending time together unless other people are around. That's just familiarity, his mother said. Every long-term couple goes through that. Do you and Dad avoid each other? I asked. Do you run out of things to say? Do you go to bed every night wishing you were somewhere else? His parents looked at each other, a long look that said more than words could. That's different, his mother said weakly. How is it different? We've been married for 35 years. We've learned how to make it work. You've learned how to make it work because you wanted to make it work, Ryan said. Because you love each other. We don't want to make it work. You're just scared, his father said. Marriage is a big commitment. It's natural to have doubts. These aren't doubts, I said. These are realizations. We realized we're not compatible. We realized we want different things from life. We realized we've been staying together because it was easier than admitting we made a mistake. What mistake? His mother asked. Getting engaged when we weren't ready. Saying yes to a wedding we didn't really want. Letting everyone else's excitement carry us forward when we should have been honest about our feelings. So this is our fault? His father asked. For being excited about your engagement? No, Ryan said quickly. It's our fault for not being honest sooner. It's our fault for letting it get this far. How far is this far? His mother asked, gesturing at all the wedding materials spread across the coffee table. The deposits? The bookings? The invitations we were about to order? All of it, I said. We're sorry. We know you've put time and money and energy into this, and we're sorry. Sorry doesn't get us our deposits back, his father said. And for the first time, there was anger in his voice. We'll pay you back, Ryan said. Whatever you've spent, we'll pay you back. It's not about the money, his mother said, tears streaming down her face now. It's about everything. The future we planned. The family we were going to be. The grandchildren. You'll still be family, I said. Just not the way you expected. No, we won't, she said, her voice bitter now. You'll break up and move on and find other people and we'll be strangers. That's how these things work. That doesn't have to be how this works, Ryan said. Yes, it does, his father said flatly. You think you can break our son's heart and then come around for Sunday dinner like nothing happened? I'm not breaking his heart, I said. He doesn't want to marry me either. Both parents turned to look at Ryan, waiting for him to deny it. She's right, he said quietly. I don't want to get married. I haven't wanted to for months. Then why didn't you say something? His mother demanded. Because I knew this would happen. I knew you'd be devastated. I knew you'd try to fix it. Try to convince us to work it out. Try to make us feel guilty for changing our minds. We're not trying to make you feel guilty, his father said. Yes, you are, Ryan said, his voice getting stronger. You're talking about deposits and grandchildren and how devastated you are. You're making this about you instead of about what's best for us. What's best for you is being with someone who loves you, his mother said. She does love me, Ryan said, looking at me. And I love her, just not the way you're supposed to love someone you marry. For the first time since we'd started talking, his parents seemed to really hear what we were saying. The fight went out of his mother's posture. His father set down the papers he'd been clutching. Are you both sure about this? His father asked quietly. We're sure, I said. And there's nothing we can say to change your minds? No, Ryan said. There isn't. His mother wiped her eyes and looked around at all the wedding materials scattered across the coffee table. The invitation samples, the venue photos, the cake designs, the speech about grandchildren that would never exist. I just wanted you both to be happy, she said. We know, I said. And this is how we'll be happy, by being honest about what we want. I need some time to process this, his father said, standing up and walking toward the kitchen. His mother started gathering up the papers, her movements mechanical and defeated. I'm sorry, Mom, Ryan said. I know, honey, she said without looking up. I know you are. We sat in Ryan's car outside his parents' house for 10 minutes before either of us spoke. That was awful, he said finally. It was necessary. My mom's never going to forgive us. She will. It'll just take time. Ryan started the engine, but didn't put the car in drive. Do you think we did the right thing? I looked back at the house. The living room lights were still on, and I could see his parents moving around inside, probably cleaning up all the wedding materials we'd just made obsolete. Yes, I said, we did the right thing. Even though we hurt them, especially because we hurt them. If we'd gone through with it, we would have hurt them more later, and we would have hurt ourselves. He nodded and pulled out of the driveway. We drove in silence until we reached my apartment building. So what happens now? He asked as I unbuckled my seatbelt. Now we figure out how to be friends, how to untangle our lives, how to move forward. Think we can do that? I looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time in months, I felt genuine affection instead of obligation. Yeah, I said, I think we can. I got out of the car and walked toward my building, my ring finger feeling strange and light without the weight I'd carried for so long. Behind me, I heard Ryan drive away, probably going home to his empty apartment to process what we'd just done. When I got inside, I sat on my couch and pulled out my phone. I had 3 missed calls from his mother and a text message. I hope you're both happy. I wasn't sure if she meant it sarcastically or genuinely, but either way, the answer was the same. For the first time in months, I was.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop your favorite part in the comments. See you in the next one.